During the Democratic debate that took place last weekend, the debate came back from a break and Hillary Clinton showed up a little later than her male counterparts. Now, because of that, Donald Trump has decided to exploit the situation to get a little bit of attention. But this time, he has gone way too far. Now, we have the video for you. Let's take a quick look and we'll discuss.
I know where she went. It's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. No, it's too disgusting. Don't say it. It's disgusting. Let's not do it. We want to be very, very straight up, okay? But I thought wasn't that a weird deal? We're ready to start. They were looking. They gave her every benefit of the doubt because, you know, it's ABC and she practically owns ABC. She really does. I mean, George Stephanopoulos interviewed me the other day. It was terrible. Let me just tell you, I may win, I may not win. Hillary, that's not a president. That's not. She's not taking us to everything that's been involved in Hillary has been losses. You take a look. Even a race to Obama. She was going to beat Obama. I don't know who'd be worse. I don't know. How does it get worse? But she was going to beat. She was favored to win, and she got schlonged. She lost. I mean, she lost.
She got schlonged.
I mean, there's so many things wrong there. First of all, he says about what was presumably a bathroom break. I don't want to talk about it, so let's talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It's disgusting. I don't know, what's more disgusting, a woman who happened to need to use the restroom or a man who actually looks like a giant turd? I don't know. I would go with
the guy.
It's disgusting,
Anna. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Well, you know, we're running a very straight up show here.
Right.
So, but it is disgusting. What are you talking about? I got news for you, Donald. We all do it. We're all human beings.
No, Donald doesn't do it.
No,
right?
No,
He's the only person on the planet who doesn't do it.
He's Kim Jong Trump. He doesn't go to the bathroom. He doesn't need it. He's fantastic. Okay.
Okay, so that was strike number one. Like, I don't know why it's disgusting that she had to use the bathroom. I did find it a little strange that she showed up late, right? Because she started the entire debate late, and then on top of that, she came back from the break late. I don't know what's going on with her. She's like so calm and like nonchalant about everything. But to call it disgusting and make a big deal out of it is ridiculous. And then no one's ever used schlong as a verb meaning that you got beaten by someone else in a presidential race. Usually it means you've gotten dicked.
Yeah,
right?
Unless you got beaten by a schlong, right? Which, you know, I don't know how familiar Trump is with that, but he keeps using it. Now, this is not the first time he said it. Back in 2011, he also mentioned someone else got schlonged, okay? And guess what? It was also a woman. Wild coincidence. When Republican Jane Corwin lost her race to a Democrat, he said that she got schlonged by a Democrat. So,
it's not.
I mean, did no one tell him then, hey, that's not a thing people say. Don't say that, and stop saying it only about women.
Oh, he knows what he's doing. He's not. I mean, he's an idiot in a lot of ways. I don't think he's an idiot in this way. He knows exactly what he's saying, and I think this master graphic proves the point right. He's schlonging for attention. He wants that attention, and he's getting it. And so, look, the thing that bothers me the most is that there's this big crowd of people there that are cheering him on. There's this huge chunk of the Republican Party that continuously supports him, regardless of how deplorable he is. And I don't know what the state of this country is at this point. Like, I'm actually genuinely worried. At first, it was all fun and games. It was entertainment. I really didn't think that he stood a chance. But now, I really think that he stands a chance. I think he's going to win the Republican nomination.
Yeah, no, he definitely stands a chance. There's only about 3 people who could win the Republican nomination, and he is not just leading in the polls. I think he is the most likely of those 3. Ted Cruz stands an excellent chance of winning as well, and he's equally deplorable. He's just a little bit more sly about it. Now, but Anna, you're right to be concerned because Donald Trump is going over the top. You said he went too far this time, but he's gone too far so many times.
Right, exactly.
But what we're failing to understand that he's not popular despite the fact that he's going too far. He's popular because of the fact that he's going too far. So how many times has he attacked women now? I mean, put the Muslims, the Mexicans, the blacks aside, right?
Megyn Kelly.
Right, Megyn. Yeah. So when first of all, Megyn Kelly brought up all of his other attacks against women and asked that question in the first place. See, she listed about 3. Then what does he do? He attacks Megyn Kelly for asking the question and says she's bleeding from different places in her body. Now, that is so outrageous, it would have been a disqualifier for any other candidate at any other time. But he picked up popularity after that because they don't like him despite the fact that he's attacking women. They like him because he's attacking women.
I think that he touches on, or at least arouses, the defiant nature of Republicans. Because Republicans hate things like Michelle Obama telling you, hey, maybe you should exercise and eat healthy so we battle this obesity epidemic. No, you don't tell me what to eat. I want to do what I want to do. That's like the Republican characteristic that stands out the most. And this guy is defiant. He gets criticized for something, and then he doubles down. And again, it arouses that very defiant nature of the Republican Party. And it's depressing and it's scary. And I think ultimately it will lead to him winning the nomination. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm actually genuinely scared now.
So, Anna, you're right about all that, but I'm going to have to ask you to stop using the word arouses in the same sentence as Donald Trump. I know he fancies himself the Don Schlong of the Republican Party,
yes,
but he's actually the Schlong Ranger. And so if you keep talking about it in that light, you're going the Schlong way.
Oh, my God.